Hi, everybody. Really a delight to be able to spend some time with you today. I'm hoping you can see the slides. I'm sure you can. You might well be asking yourself, why does a guy who studies leadership and transitions, presume to make a talk on planning to thrive after the crisis? And the answer basically is I've had a longstanding interest in crisis management, what I call predictable surprises. I wrote a book about this many years ago that recently got some attention as a result of the current crisis. I used to run pandemic simulations many years ago. So this is an area of real interest to me. And so it's got me thinking, as I'm sure it's gotten many of you thinking about, how do we manage through this time? But for me, crucially, how do we position ourselves now as organizations to really thrive after the crisis begins to abate? And so that's been some thinking I've been doing that I'm going to share with you today. And I'm going to start with an idea that comes from Charles O'Reilly and Michael Tushman. It's back in the early 2000s, called the Ambidextrous Organization, right? Ambidextrous, left brain, right brain. The way they meant it was execution on one side and innovation on the other. How do you build organizations that do both those things? For me, in the context of the crisis, it's really about how do you simultaneously react effectively to the crisis on one side and reimagine your organization and rethink your business at a pretty fundamental level on the other side. And I think this is an interesting problem for sure, and something I've been doing some thinking about. I'm just going to use an example. It's an organization I've worked with for about 4 years. It's a big healthcare system in the US, 65,000 employees, 11 billion revenue. I've coached the CEO, Gene Woods, since he took the CEO role 4 years ago. And more recently, I've been working quite intensively with them about exactly this subject, which is how do you really position yourself to both react to what's going on effectively, but also leverage the crisis to begin to reimagine the way you actually conduct business and the way you manage this healthcare system. So I'm going to be drawing on examples throughout this presentation from Atrium Health, but I think you're going to find it's a much more general set of ideas that you can focus on. And I invite you to think a little bit about what does this mean for your own organization, right? How do you begin to apply this thinking, hopefully in a useful way, to imagine what you might do with your own business.